This is going to be an informative intro because this band name, I really don't know how to pronounce it. So I wanted to look into the origins of it. And the origins are, it's a Greek word coming from droseros, which means dewy or covered with dew. And it comes from, it's used for plants, a sundew plant that has sticky tentacles that look like dewdrops, and they use that to trap and digest insects. And so there's some possible symbolism there where it comes to, it can represent deception, entrapment, beauty hiding in danger or within danger, survival through harsh means. So possibly this band wanted to use this word to represent, how intense they could be, how dangerous they can be, how aggressive, and maybe show that they have some hidden power. So I thought that was a little bit of an interesting way to start this video. Hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Matt Diazable coming at you with some new music reviews. If you're just now discovering me, thank you. If you're new or you're old, thanks for coming back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. It helps me a lot. I know all the YouTubers say that. I hate saying it, but I kind of have to. But yeah, today I am checking out a band called, if I'm messing up their name, I'm sorry guys, Drosera. I think that's it. That's how you say it. With their latest EP called Empire. This band, if you've never heard of them, Drosera is a metallic hardcore band based out of Gainesville, Florida. And they're relatively a new band, so there's not too much info on them. I don't really know what year they formed. If the band can tell me, let me know down below. But before I can find out, it seemed like some of the members were looking for band members and, posted some online postings about looking for members, and over time they all just came together and formed this band. And if I'm correct, I think this might be their first release. They released it back in early January of this year, 2025. So I'm super late to this review, but super happy I discovered this band because they are super heavy, super fast, and they are very locked in. And the funny thing is, I don't even remember how I found out about them. I remember seeing it possibly on Spotify, on a website, and I was like, put them on the list, gotta check them out. And that's how we got here. And with this latest EP, Drosera, which I'm just gonna say D from now on so I don't mess up their name even more, are hitting with a sound that is very raw, dissonant, and just unrelentingly heavy. And across just 5 tracks, the band is able to carve out a space that is, falling between metallic hardcore, metalcore, and sludge. Balancing pure punishment with grooves that feel very locked in and extremely deliberate. While it's a bit short in length, it doesn't really matter because Empire, this EP from D, is a really strong statement, and in the hardcore community, sometimes shorter is better. What's really cool about this EP, the band is willing to experiment within hardcore framework and keep things very violent and very just intact as well as they try to branch out a little bit of the usual hardcore norms. The opening song, Half-Life, kind of opens up with a very brief, clean sample clip that just gives way to a very tuned down bass and pounding drums before the riffs just collapse in a wall of distortion and menace. And the mix on this track is surprisingly very clean, but also still very gritty, so the band sounds very massive without ever really losing their raw edge. And as the track kind of lurches along, it gets slower, heavier, and groovier, so it feels like the room is just slowly sinking under its own weight. So I want to play a small clip of Half-Life so you get a sense of just the sheer massive sound this band is bringing.
What is well here? It's dangerous and repulsive to us. Danger with presence. With your time.
It feels so suffocating, so large. Man Bites Dogs kind of doubles down on the dissonant style playing with some really frantic riffing, and the drums, they are cracking like gunshots. And the vocals are quite dynamic here because they are shifting between, guttural lows and sharp highs. So it gives the song a very vicious, unpredictability to it. And so by the time the nasty slow motion breakdown comes in, the song feels like, a descent into pure chaos. So I want to play a small clip of this song so you get a sense of just the dynamic playing they're doing here. so fresh. The band then kind of like flexes their musical diversity with the song A Place for Friends, where they lean into more metalcore style riffing here that still feels very grounded in hardcore style of music. And then during the breakdown, they add these nice little cymbal taps that like give it a nice clever touch. So it adds a lot of tension to the breakdown. So it's not just a straightforward breakdown. So I want to play a small clip of this song so you get a sense of just like the metalcore elements they can bring into their music. They really switching things up a bit. And then the song A Word From Our Sponsor really pushes things further by having some really interesting guttural vocal fries and then dropping into one of the slowest and heaviest breakdowns I've ever heard this year. It's led by some really deep bass playing and cymbal splashes that just really collapse and just take you like deeper and deeper into this dirty muckiness of a breakdown. And then the closing track here, Living Space, kind of picks things back up a little bit with faster blast beat style drums and more kind of spaced out riffing that really gives the track some time to breathe compared to the previous tracks that were a little bit more suffocating. So it's a nice contrast. It's a reminder that the band can shift gears without ever really losing impact, ending the EP on a very high note of like relentless aggression. And the thing that really makes this EP kind of stand out is that they are able to balance out different ideas without ever really losing focus. The riffs are very dissonant and quite ugly, the bass always rumbling before it really collapses, and the drums drive everything with clarity and power. But I think what really makes this band stick out a little bit more is how they ride the grooves, letting riffs really sprawl on out and then breakdowns stretch way beyond their point of comfort, but you want it because they're doing it so well. So it really gives this particular EP a very distinct personality. And so it's not just heavy music that hits hard, which it does, but it lingers, it festers, and it suffocates within you. Empire is a short, crushing showcase of the band's ability to be very creative in its dissonant sound while also being very uncompromising in its heaviness. And before I close everything out, I thought this is like maybe their first release, but looking on their Spotify, I made a mistake. It's clearly this band's been around for a while now. They had an EP back in 2023. So I just recently discovered them and they've been already putting in a lot of work, which makes sense. But it's, still pretty early in their career. And you can tell that, with more time, they can put out a full scale, heavy, devastating record in the future if this is just the small work they're putting out now. So this latest EP from Drosera, called Empire, I would have to give it a good and nice 9 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think about this band. Give me some other recommendations for Florida bands or anything. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.
I can't take it, good things about you.